Welcome to Musings from the Cyber Trench, the podcast that goes beyond surface-level talk to uncover the real challenges and breakthroughs in public sector cybersecurity. Each episode features fearless leaders and visionary experts who are reshaping security strategies in some of the most complex environments. This is a space for honest conversations, fresh perspectives, and practical insights designed to empower and inspire. Get ready to rethink what's possible and join a community committed to making cybersecurity stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Here's your host, Vishal Masi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Musings from the Cyber Trench. Today's episode is going to be slightly different. We don't have a fixed topic per se, because we'll be talking about a lot of different things, all important, all equally interesting. My guest today is a leader in the Department of Defense CMMC compliance readiness, with over 25 years of experience across commercial, government, and non-profit sectors. He has built a reputation for trust, integrity, and helping organizations navigate the complex world of cybersecurity. His organization supports the defense industrial base with lean, compliant tech stacks, while driving process optimization and continuous improvement through automation and agile practices. Beyond frameworks and controls, he has a real passion for people, whether that's educating executives on governance, risk, and compliance, or empowering veterans to build careers in cyber security. And here is a fun fact. He once considered trading it all in for a career-free life, working at a ski shop in Austria. And I would want to hear more on that later. With that, everybody meet my guest, Tran. Welcome to Musings from the Cyber Trench, Khan. I am excited to have a deep dive into GRC, CMMC, and wherever this conversation takes us.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for inviting me, Vishal, and thanks for being here to in this podcast of yours, and really talk about things that really matter to me and things that really matter into the defense of Department of War. So really excited, and it's really exciting to say the DOW because everybody. Some people like it, some people hate it. To me, it's just kind of funny. So it's all good.
I think it has to be passed by the Congress to make the name official, right? I'm not wrong.
Yeah. It has to. It's just that some people are enacting it now, other people are enacting it later. So it's just I don't know. It's one of those things that it's a good conversation starter.
So let's talk about the big thing going on right now, which is hot in the in our defense industry right now, which is CMMC compliance. Do you think we are moving in the right direction with respect to having CMMC compliance enforced?
Absolutely. As an individual that came from enterprise, GRC, the idea here is something that to me, and this is just my opinion, has been very, very much overdue, right? So as our country is growing, and as we're doing a lot of projects with the DoD or the DOW, and the data that we have, as you see so far, is not really being protected, right? And it's been eased for so long, right? For a very long time, we were very eased about protecting this data. I think that when we're talking about different countries and just stealing this data or taking this information, we're at the beginning stages of understanding cybersecurity and protecting data, right? We're looking at China, we're looking at different other countries out there. Their technologies are way, way more advanced today, right, than what we have. But all we could do is start somewhere. And this is a really good start. If we go back to the industrial age and everything, and we talk about how, in industry moved from where we were in a creep, crawl to walk to run. I really think that, CMMC at the crawl space right now will start running a lot faster than, just different uh, parts of our history, because it is that important. Data today is like, I think I read somewhere 2, 3 years ago, it's almost like that instead of renewable energy, it's almost like infinite energy, right? Whoever understands data, runs data, and protects or embraces this data will be leader in the the new world, and we don't want to be left behind.
So you think the compliance requirements should also be be extended to the FedSIF side?
So the compliance itself, I think it's as I was talking to a client yesterday, and we were talking about level 1 versus level 2, right? So level 1 is no more than basic hygiene, right? If we can't do basic hygiene today, who's to say we can do more that's coming in revision 3, right? So I think there are a lot of frameworks out there. I think there's a lot of great frameworks, and each framework has a rhyme and a reason for it, right? If you're talking about CIS, you're talking about hardening servers. If you're talking about CMMC, it's about following that data, and protecting that data. If you're talking about CMMI, you're talking about just integration and really scrumming of an organization, how they operate. So each framework has a time and a place. Just when we're talking about the DIB, we're talking about just CMMC and the data being just that important.
Or like say like for the DIB, CMMC will be a requirement. We don't have corresponding requirement on the FedSIF side. So do you think we should extend CMMC there too?
We should see that CMMC over the next couple of years be adopted by a lot of organizations and moving out, right? I think one of the things that just everybody's waiting for is to see how it goes. See how it protects the data, see what type of disruption it's going to cause, and how to build around it and grow from it, right? It's just like buying a new car, right? When I bought my first truck in 2007, it was a brand new version of that truck. Of course, there's going to be a lot of problems. There's going to be a lot of engine changes. There's going to be a lot of recalls on different things that's happening. It's the same thing here. Everybody's waiting for those kinks to get taken care of, and then wondering what that's going to look like when revision 3 comes out. And then they're worried about, what if I do, let's say if I'm looking at protecting and storage FIPS 140-2, reversion 3 is asking for a -3, right? So what tool and technology should I be looking at, right? And it's one of the things that when we go out and talk to our clients, we talk about, let's predict, be very predictive. I hate for people to think in a reactive manner, right? I think mostly when you're a leader of an organization, you should look at, just proactive and predictive. So proactively, yes, you need to get CMMC because it protects the data, and plus it serves as a pro for your organization to get contracts or renew your contracts. Predictively, we have to be smart about our technology that we get, that it serves not only for what we need today for compliance, but it could actually like live and merge with us to what the future, just revision is going to look like. If not, we're just wasting money as an organization.
So like what I'm getting from what you just shared was, we are currently waiting to see how things settle in the future. Once there is more maturity in the GovCon space, we may see CMMC extend to FedSIF sites. May or may not happen.
Yeah, there's been talks about it. As we're listening, there are CFRs being looked at to create for the federal space. But then again, it's not. I don't feel, it's just. And again, predictably, I see it. But if I say today there's something out there, I'll be lying, right? There's always talks about it, We talked about it. We're talking the difference between 800,000 organizations versus 1.2 or in the millions in the federal space. So it's just let's see how it works here before it moves on. But that's my opinion, and that's what I'm seeing. But we don't really know until something comes out, and that seems like every week there's something new that's coming out with CMMC that gets the whole ecosystem excited and LinkedIn just going crazy.
Let's talk about GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. Why is that a big passion for you?
So I think everything falls into GRC, right? So compliance is a big piece of everything we do, right? We have to know what the policy procedures are. We have to know what we're doing is correct and if not, right? When we're talking about the governance side of it, there's got to. I fall into enterprise thought through this when I did a lot of Six Sigma, right? Once you put something in place, you have to continuously improve, and you also have to monitor to make sure that it is where it is. And if it's not, then you break it down and you improve again, right? You have to understand the defect. So governance is a very very important piece of it, and just risk. Every company deals with risk. We don't just deal with risk when it comes into the cybersecurity space. We deal with risk in the IT space, and we deal with risk as a whole organization when it comes to business, right? Are these risks a risk that we that our organization is going to inherit, or are these residual risks from whatever happened before? Every organization has to make that decision. And it's a business decision just as much as it is a IT decision, engineering decision, or any part of the business. So put it all together, it's encompassing of an organization, not just cybersecurity in general. So when I look in the past with risk and I look at regulations in different countries, I noticed that every region, every country have their own basic regulations, and those are risks, right? So is this something that we can handle? Is it something that we have to think ahead of and be predictive about it? Mostly when you're dealing with a bigger organization, either that or your organization is growing. You want to make sure you be more predictive and more intentional in this, and then just, oh my God, it's coming up and it's hitting me sideways, right? Yeah, you don't want to get caught off, not on your A game, and then all of a sudden, oh, now you're penalized. Now you're not compliant. Your governance is off. Your policy procedures off. Everything's off, and then it leads to a whole regime change, and of course a cultural change. And if your organization, all of this is costly, and we don't want that.
So when it comes to risk, risk can have its own qualitative side of things and also the risk quantitative side of things. Have you seen risk being taken differently in terms of quality and quantity between the commercial side and the GovCon side?
Yeah, I notice, and here's the CMMC part, right? Every commercial piece we see when it comes to risk and compliance, we talk about self attestation, right? Are you doing it? Yes, we're doing it, right? Are you doing it? Yes, we're doing it. I see a lot of primes are taking it really seriously, but a lot of subs are pinching their pennies and making sure that they wait until the last minute, right? So it's more reactive than proactive and being more predictive about it. And so if you've seen, and I've seen over the last couple of years, a lot of organizations, let's say communication organizations, hospitality, in general, insurance and hospitals in itself has been infiltrated, right? And it's because, yes, do we do it? Yeah, we do it. But do you do it? Yes. So as we're looking through it, I think the significance here with CMMC is removing that self-attestation part of it and put it more into a third-party organization, an unbiased party coming in to make sure that something is being done. Because truth of the matter, what are we fighting about now when it comes to CMMC? We're fighting about, oh, it's so costly. Oh, I have to buy this and that. I don't have money for it. It's not in my budget, this and that. it's been talked about since 2010. This is 15 years later. I was like, if you were predictive about it, like some of these other companies, you would be where you're at and you'd be slowly moving. You would plan it every year, little bit by little bit, to get where you need to go, and start with basic hygienes and continues on with just the extra layer of protection and then advanced security. But instead, you're starting at ground zero, and so it's just I understand the significance of it today, mostly for small to medium SMBs. But I also understand that it's been years, and just you just can't go to the next person and say, "Hey, what do you hear?" Right? There's technical experts out there, like our organization, B1 Group Cyber, and there's also technical individuals out there that are more than willing to answer your questions, and just remove the falsehood of what's being driven out there, right? Because if we don't understand cybersecurity, we don't understand the protection of data and what it means to our country, then at the end of the day, the chance of us staying where we are as a power, it's hard to say. I mean, whoever has data and technology wins, right? And right now, we've seen everything way past what it is today.
I agree with you. So, you mentioned SMBs. Yeah. So, one thing I have seen a lot lately is like many SMBs are small in size. Their teams, they all work remote. They have like bring your own device policy and so on. So CMMC controls they seem a bit vague in that area. What do you think?
So CMMC is not something new, right? It's 800-171, right? It's something that we should have done for a very long time. I see a lot of organizations come in and say they've been working ISO 27001 for a very long time. Is it the same thing as CMMC? No, it's not, right? But then at the same time, there are controls that falls into place, So if you're looking at where it is, you got actually look at Google NIST 800-171 Appendix D, and it'll show the mapping between ISO 800-53 and CMMC, and then which is the 171, 800-171, and see where it fits. So now you have a roadmap, right? As much as I don't want to tell the world this, but if you have time and you have a team of IT individuals or cybersecurity individuals who write policy procedure before, they understand how to do this. It's time consuming, right? But the roadmap's there, right? Nobody's telling these organizations you can't go to 800-171 alpha and look at the examples and say, oh, what is it asking for with objective A, objective B, C, or D, right? And then from there say, hey, we've done the ISO 27001. How does it map? So they're asking it a certain way. Okay, let's bring that over and let's make sure that we have that, and let's build that roadmap from where we have. The thing that everybody's scared about is the nuance. The nuance of it is when we talk about adequacy and sufficiency, right? Is there adequate evidence? Is there sufficient evidence, right? What is the right evidence? What is the wrong evidence, right? So that's where an organization or a firm like us would come in. That if you have all this in place, we come in and we do a scope and a gap, where we look at your scope so far, understand your boundaries, understand your network diagrams, your data flow diagrams, your RBAC or role-based access control, asset inventories. What are the tech stacks you have inside? Who's touching the CUI and the facilities, either cloud or not? That's touching the CUI, and then we validate. If everything is validated, it's good. If not, we build for you and really help you understand what those boundaries are and where that data is moving around. And the gap and the POAMs or the plan of action milestones really gives you an understanding, like, hey, am I on the right track or do I need help, right? We see organizations come in with, they said, been doing it for 3 years, but they took a left somewhere, took a total left. Everything's messed up. They're 500, 600 POAMs in. They're like, what do you mean? working with this for years. I was like, well, you're still in version 1 of CMMC, the 5 levels. We don't have 5 levels anymore. We have 3 levels. And we also have other organizations that come in and just rocking it out of the park. But it's hey, do we have the adequate, sufficient evidence? And I always recommend, let's say if your organization is going to go do something and create what the SSP is going to look like, create your network diagrams, your data flow diagrams, your RBAC, your asset inventories, and start answering and setting evidence and policies for each control. Once you get done with that and you feel really good, come back and have an organization like ours where our team is basically comprised of CCAs and CCPs. So the certified CMMC practitioners or professionals have seen a lot of this, and they've been working through it. So their eyes are trained to see what kind of evidence, artifacts, and policy procedures are either adequate, sufficient, or not. And then they'll help you understand, hey, I would like some more of this. And on the other side, have that conversation with our CCAs, right? Our certified CMMC assessors who will be forward facing you, where you sit there and you have the discussion. Why is it this way and why is it not, right? Instead of just saying, hey, I paid you money, you figured it out. It's like, hey, we're a partner. Let's figure this out together. Because at the end of the day, these are your own policies and procedures. We can't decide what the daily or quarterly or yearly cycle you're going to look at logs or do incident response or things like that, right? That's your organization, and that really will save money and really educate mostly the SMBs because and again, money is a big driver here. A lot of SMBs are like, where am I going to find the money to do this? But let's take the first the first steps to it. Either you start and then come and get an organization like us to say you're on the right track, but hey, you missed some of this, or start off with us so we build and help you build the boundaries, all the diagrams, collect everything, and show you where the gaps are, and then now you have a roadmap to go, right? But if you have good money and you have a lot of money, then yeah, you could take us throughout the whole process. It makes life easier. But small, medium SMBs is really hard. And I say use your money wisely and really go out there and really ask about who you're working with. If you're working with RPO, great. If you're working with some organizations that say that they can get you somewhere, the full package in like 10,000 or 20,000, I'm going to be honest. If you hear that, you walk the other way because assessments alone, I see at a minimum, somewhere out there, there's a unicorn that's charging 20,000, right? And that's great, right? I don't know who it is, but we're seeing from 32 to 64 or 75,000, right? That's the range. So if somebody's promising you to get you ready and get you certified included for like 20,000 or less, I would love to know who it is because it's one of those things like that unicorn out there.
So I had a question there. So you think like because of like we do have a shortage of people to be able to do CMMC assessments. Yeah, it's a fact. You think that is driving the high cost right now, or the cost won't come down?
Exactly. Because we're talking about like scarcity, right? So if you have so many only so many CCAs and CCPs out there, they dictate their costs, right? A lot of CCAs today, they don't want to W2, right? They don't want to work for organization. They know their value. If we have 6 or 7 or 800 and we CCAs out there, and we know that it takes 3 CCAs to do a project, then they dictate their price, right? So C3POs are sitting there, they're like limited in CCAs, but they have to like 1099 these individuals, and they are costly, very costly. So that's what drives the price up, mostly when it comes to assessments. But I feel and the federal space and everybody else will also feel in the future as it just levels out, right? Everything levels out, the price will come down. There's more efficiency in place, and that's what we're seeing lately is teams are coming together to create that efficiency and that cost efficiency, because there's a group out there that's there for the money, and then there's a group out there that's there for the dip, right? You're gonna have that anytime there's a high need in things. But once we get to capacity, which uh, um, I'm very excited, and you probably saw on LinkedIn about the training portion is going to Osaka, where it's going to be more efficient, it's going to be more streamlined, and the certifications are and testing will move a lot more efficient and smoother than what it is doing today, because we're everybody's trying to figure things out. Even the RPOs, we're working with different partners that brings different packages, right? For organizations, we've done so many readiness that we've seen that the price of our basic CMMC level 1 has gone down, where in the past it would cost us 15 to 25,000 to get that level 1, because not only that you're doing it, we're doing it. We're trying to find the efficiency of it. Now we're cutting that cost to for the basic level 1 to around 7,900. That is a big cost savings, right? To say that you have it, you have the tools, the partners in place that simplifies this for a small and medium SMB. It's it's a cost savings that they could live with, because everybody's asking for level 1 today, right? Who do you trust? Who do you trust? Where do you go trust? And that's a different conversation. Is there's so many RPOs that's just popping out of blue, so many C3POs popping out of blue. The big fours in the game with everybody else too of counting, and then you also see consultant companies now adding CMMC to the piece, right? Who do you trust, and how much money should you pay? Right? For us, I think the narrative is, how do we keep on driving that price down? Because we it's about trust, right? We talked about this before. We were just talking about integrity and morals. Because as we drive down, we're not just there to collect money, but we build a trust in the ecosystem where organizations feel safe to make a good decision, instead of going out there going like, oh, nobody's putting a price on their packages. We're going to try to remove that. We're going to put a price on our packages, right? We want to make sure you know what you're getting. Clear, concise deliverables. If you hear today and you hear, hey, we do scope and gap, we get you ready. What does that entail? They're not going to tell you. They need to tell you that clear, concise deliverables, brevity. It's very important.
So, when you conduct assessments, where do you see the most pushback? Is it in terms of the scope or something else?
I think the most pushback I see is the tech stack, right? There's been a lot of fight between, hey, do I go AWS? Do I go Google? Do I go Microsoft? Everybody tells me I have to be Microsoft GCC high. I have to say there's many ways to skin the cat, right? It just depends on your organization. One of the things that we like to do is we like to have that conversation, right? I think Visual, we had a conversation with one of your partners yesterday, and one of the things is, hey, we don't need this. We have this. Perfect, right? We need to have that conversation. It's not just a one package fits all, right? It's like we have to understand your current scope. We have to understand what you're trying to protect, which is your CUI. But where's your CUI going, right? If your CUI is something that you could just stay on a platform, we have platforms out there that is, government instead of commercial, government safe, right? But it's not something that you can print out, right? It stays in the platform. If your organization is only cloud based, right? You're seeing emails and everything. You have a minimal organizational, just privilege. Then we look at different enclaves. We're partnering with a enclave today with QuickTrack. That's We're one of probably, I say, 2 or 3 resellers, but they operate in a small piece where it's 1 to 15, right? So organizations like that, it's really simple. You don't own anything. The other organization owns that, right? Or we see organizations like bigger mids and primes are looking at configuration. Let's lift and shift an organization to a Microsoft or Microsoft GCC or Microsoft GCC High, either that or AWS or Google FedRAMP, and then we'll manage it inside. The configurations will be done with organizations like ours and our partners. But then once it's done with, we send it in, we grab the evidence artifacts, and then now it's just continued maintenance of maintaining what you say you're going to maintain, that you visually check, that you collect the logs. So CMMC is not only about today, it's about today, every year for self-attestation to show that you're maturing, and then reassessment, and then continues on. Because we have to change culture of what we're doing today. We've been doing it wrong for a very long time. Change the culture and build that culture of security being an integral part in what we do, right? So as we look, we've seen it throughout the years that just DevOps become DevSecOps, right? When we're looking at compliance, we're looking at security, just risk management. We're looking at just everything starting to move to the right, where cybersecurity is becoming more important. Because when we talk about where we are in the computer age, 1995 was, what was that? IoT was 1995, and then all of a sudden, 20 years later, we're here, right? 20 years later, we have advanced so much that we're a species of looking at your phone, right? So everything is technology, and everybody has to understand with technologies there's pros and cons, and there's a lot of risk. And then now organizations like primes, they don't want to handle that risk, and mostly one of the biggest risks is always suppliers, because suppliers are unknowledgeable about the security. You can get into a prime system, right? There's no such thing as 100% security, but you'll get caught before you get past the second level or third level, or they follow you. But the weakest area is a unknowing supplier or sub, not knowing how to protect their passwords, not locking doors, not protecting their computers from people just walking in and taking them, right? Over the shoulder surfings, social risks, different things like that we see every day. That's something that we need to build into our culture as a country. Because if you're in any other country, let's say China or something, they're very protective of it, because they know, it's just like that data is important.
Let's switch gears a bit. Okay, so let's talk about your second passion. I've seen that myself. Your passion on bringing veterans into the field of cybersecurity.
Yes. So a lot of people don't know. I spent a lot of 2004, 2005, did a lot of work in the Middle East, right? Start working on military projects back in 2002 to 2005. Either I'm working with helos, I'm working with the drones and different projects in defense companies, and also in the Middle East. That time they built a camaraderie, right? When you're being isolated into a base, it's almost like a prison. I just want to be honest about it. The only people that you consider battle buddies is the person next to you. It might be a corporal, it might be a private, it might be a sergeant. It doesn't matter. You only have the person next to you to protect you, right? As we moved through my career back in 2008, 2009, I did it again. I went back over because I missed that camaraderie. I missed that, that battle buddy sense where you need everybody. Everybody's protecting, everybody's in line with each other. And really left that space in 2011 when I went to Boeing. airplane manufacturer, and I was not feeling. I guess you could say PTSD a little bit from leaving the Middle East and going back to the States, but it wasn't individuals that surround me that could see it. It was only veterans, right? And there was many times where they just stopped me and it's like, hey, I can see it in your eyes. You can see it in my eyes. We're all here, and let's talk about it. You can talk about it. And I was able to find a help group, right, of veterans that has been in the military that was there for me when I needed it. So by giving back, I did a lot of stuff with the diversity, mostly when we talk about Asian Americans and Hispanic Americans and Black Americans. And then after that, I thought about it. It's like, veterans are a big part of who I am, right? So for me to give back is natural, right? Because veterans, what are we looking for, right? We're looking for that family. We're looking for that mission. So when we talk, it's not like, hey, we got to go do this. It's like, hey, this is the mission. We have to complete this mission. And they're like, boom, everybody's on the same page. We're moving, right? And I love that because everybody's just, you know, acclimating to regular life is really hard. You want a mission. You want to fight for something that matters, right? What better mission than is to protect that data? Because we have a lot of veterans on our team. Whenever these veterans hear that, oh my God, excitement. Because you don't feel lonely no more. You don't feel like you're just there just to live out life anymore. The action's gone. We just take that energy from the field and we bring it into protecting data now. And it's just a lot of these conferences when we go to, it's a lot of veterans. It's a lot of active military. It's a lot of veterans. So they see their friends and they see majors and generals that they work for, and they see that their other corporals, sergeants that they work with. They're all there and they reminisce and they feel like they're part of the family again. And that to me is, it's moving. It's great. And that's what we want to build. I know it's cliche to say a family, but let's just say a team. Every time we talk to clients and every time we work within the DIB, it's a team because it doesn't matter if you're on that team or on this team. We're on one team and one fight, and that's to protect your data.
I was speaking with a veteran who is a former Marine, and I really appreciate the fact that they bring the same mission focused mindset to their civilian life also. I haven't worked in the field. I'm not a veteran, so I don't really know about that till I spoke with them. How important it is for them to be able to still bring that mission focused mindset and bring it to cyber security or whatever field you are currently working in.
I mean, I wouldn't say that the Middle East and everything was a bad time. I had a great time. It was a crazy time. I mean, there was times when, a funny story, that this one time we built an island. We're in the desert, so we built an island. It's a sand island. So we built the island, and then we put the camel spiders in. We put the deadly ants in there and everything. It's like a war zone. We made a little bridge. We did a little moat around it with water and everything, and it was just like Death Island. And we spent, literally like 3 days, day and night. Everybody's like, into that island, right? And the idea is like trying to get your mind away from where you're at, and then find something that is like, oh, amusing, it's fun. So I think back, there's been crazy memories, there's been fun memories, there's been sad memories with the individuals that we work with that were lost along the way. And again, the memories, the tributes of what we've done in life, and it really matters to not only myself, but it matters to all the veterans to be able to find a place where they can talk about it, release it, and then cope with it, and just share these great tributes, share these great memories with their co-workers, and of course the ecosystem that is the defense space that they could go to and meet everybody and say, remember when, right? Remember when. And then they laugh about it.
I really appreciate you sharing that. Many people don't really share about the past like that. Like there are good things and bad things, but they shape us to be like who we are right now. So, Khan, had now let's get to know you better. Okay, tell us about the fact that you thought you did it all for to work at a ski shop in Austria. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I spent some time in Germany, and as I was there, and I was working with a organization, everybody probably knows Dynacore International, and I was there with my fiance at the time, and we broke up, right? And I was devastated. So as much as I love snowboarding, as much as I love to go to Paris, and I love to go to Austria, it was between just giving up everything and going to Paris and just be in the area and just doing the whole just French bread, cheese, and just romance, or giving everything up and party all day and night at the clubs, work the ski shops, drink schnapps, and snowboard every day. So I went there one weekend, and of course I've been there for so many times. I had a whole family of individuals that worked in snow shops, and we will party every night and we'll snowboard every day, right? So it was just the life. And I thought about it to myself, and I was like, man, not a care in the world. All I have to do is sit there, clean boards all day, right? Have a couple schnapps, go and snowboard at night and go and party every night, right? But life is weird, right? As I was about to do that, right? And I found a lot of friends that actually did something like that, and they lived life, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. But I met my wife. At the point I met my wife, and just everything just came to. And so instead of having that dream, which was probably like a month away from actually happening, I was like, oh, sorry, dream. I'll let you go. It was like, again, I like this one. I'm going to get married. So, my wife brought me back to reality. We got married, and we had our first kid, Jacob, in Germany, and then we moved back to the United States, where we're raising him and his brother and sister. We have three children, and lovely children. I mean, they're tornadoes, they're chaos, they're hurricane, whatever you like to call it. But my littlest one, he reminds me most of me. Right? It's just his personality and his thought about, oh, I'm just gonna go do this. I was like, my young buck, maybe one day you could do it, right? I'm not gonna stop you. If you wanna Don Quixote through China, if you wanna snowboard and work at a ski shop in Austria, if you wanna go to Paris and eat cheese and drink wine every day, that's fine, right? But it's my job today is to build that foundation for them to be able to do stuff like that, to live the life that I'm going to vicariously live through them somewhere along the way.
How old are your middle and your eldest child?
So, how old are my kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my oldest is 14. So it's been 14 years since I've been in Europe. Well, it's been 13 years since I've been in Europe, but it seems like it's yesterday, right? I have a 6-year-old, and then I have a 4-year-old, and it's just the 4-year-old is the craziest one. Very bossy young man that bosses everybody, and I'm like, wow, yeah, you got your dad's personality. Hilarious.
And let's talk about your childhood. Did you grow up in the US or you grew up in Vietnam?
So I grew up in U.S., right? I would say if we're discussing my parents to be first generation, I'll be second generation. Was born in San Jose, California, right? And then we moved down to Bayou Battery, Alabama. So if you listen to different podcasts, you know that I grew up in the South, in the seafood capital of Alabama, and lived in the country, right? So it was a whole different type of living versus when I finally, when I grew up, I think it was 19 or 20, and went back to California and realized how different the two lives would have been if I stayed in California, or just grew up in Alabama. So uh, there's pros and cons, but then really living in the South or really living in Alabama has given me the traits that I have today, right? Really strong traits that I treasure.
How old were you when you moved from California to Alabama?
I think it was 3 when my parents moved to Alabama. California had a lot of great stuff about it, right? But my parents came from a small island in Vietnam called Phu Quoc, right? It's a fisherman island, right? So what they knew was the fish and the shrimp. So when they went to visit my aunt and uncle in Alabama, they realized, hey, there's a lot of seafood here. So they just moved over here, right? It's quieter, California is so hustle bustle. Alabama, quiet, right? So we were shrimpers, we were oyster shuckers, we were crab pickers. We did all that, and just the life was it's very interesting, very interesting.
So did you actually go in the boats in the sea?
Yeah,
Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't know that. No?
I used to I used to be a daredevil. It's like I think middle name was like I was No Fear was my middle name. I was the one that they send in the water whenever we're stuck somewhere and they give me a knife, say go in there and cut the nets. And I'll just dive in into just rough uh Gulf of America waters, right? And then just dive in there and cut the nets, and all the fish and sand dollars are coming out. I'm the one when there's a storm. I go out to outriggers and I jump down to these boards that are slamming against each other and grabbing chains and just removing stuff. So, I mean, I was crazy at that point in time, but nowadays, I think life is like this, right? Um, there's nothing in life that is more complicated or than what I've lived through, right? So if I find somewhere that's really hot, I was like, was it hotter than Louisiana? Right? Was it more humid than Louisiana, or was it hotter than Iraq or Afghanistan? I was in. No, it's not hot enough. Or somewhere that's really cold. And I was like, is it colder than that one time that I went down the slopes in Austria at negative 21 degrees? My ears froze. Is it that cold? No, it's not that cold. I'm fine. Right. So every moment in my life, every obstacle, everything that's in front of me, I always relate it to something that has happened in my past. And if it's not that bad, there's nothing that will stop me from moving forward, completing the test.
Good mindset. So, I tried snowboarding once. Uh, it didn't go well. I fell really hard, and I was like, I was done. Maybe I might try it again, but I can't really ski that well either. So, what tip would you give a 47-year-old who wants to learn snowboarding?
You're gonna fall a lot on your tailbone. You got to commit, and that commitment is scary. And I tell you, I want to be honest with you. I fell a lot on my tailbone. It's just like, hey, watch me do this, knowing that I've never did it before, knowing that I've never jumped anything before, knowing that I've never been down a black diamond before, and spent hours trying to save me trying to save myself from drowning in snow, either that or going down a slope like this, rocks everywhere, or just flying in the air and realizing that that's not how you jump, and then your legs are in front of you and just lie down after you hit your tailbone, right? So there's a lot of pictures out there when I was in Germany where all you can see is like somebody took a picture and I'm sliding like 30 miles an hour down a mountain, hair, everything's snow's flying everywhere, and I'm just like, whew, and I was so in so much pain. I think I passed out. I just kept on sliding all the way to the bottom. I'm like, it's just,
That's crazy. Okay.
but Visual. As we're young, we do crazy stuff because we're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. But as we get older, I'm like, my back does not feel like it wants to do that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried it once. I fell on my tailbone really hard, and I was done for the day.
You know what they did? They said, "Oh, your back hurts. You fell on your tailbone 50 times yesterday." I'm gonna tell you, I fell on my tailbone a lot, right? And they're like, here's a schnapps and here's a painkiller. Put it on. Let's go." And then we go again, and then it's just like every day. Yeah, but that's when you're younger.
I'll keep that in mind.
Don't do it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Not today. Not today.
Okay. So currently, do you still ski or snowboard?
We used to do it every weekend, when we were in Europe, right? So we're either in somewhere in Germany, we're in Austria, either that or we're Sweden or anywhere around there where we just if there's snow, even if there's ice, the slopes in Germany was ice. They call it the ice wall. And I was like, once you fall, you can't get back up because it's full of ice. But if there's something that we can go down on, we went down on. And I know that a lot of my friends in the summer they would do biking, and they would go down those slopes on a bike. That is something I have no desire to do, moving 30, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour down the mountain and looking at the clouds. And yeah, there's rocks everywhere. Now you see it because there's no snow. No, no, that's something I wouldn't do.
But do you still ski or snowboard?
Reminiscing about my youth and everything, I want to, and I think there's some AFCEA events next year in Stuttgart, and I know that there's one in Belgium, and probably I thought I saw Frankfurt, but if I make it over there again, definitely will bring two things. One is my snowboard, and two is my golf clubs because I want to play golf and I want to, ski down the mountain, snowboard down the mountain.
Awesome. Okay. This has been a great conversation, Khan, and I think I would definitely like to continue some other day, in another episode. But for now, tell us how people can reach you.
So there's a couple ways you can reach us. A lot of times when you see us at a conference, please come, please ask questions. We're always welcome to questions. We also have people that come to us through email. We have info at Bjorn Group Cyber, BIORN GROUPCYBER.com. You can email us there and say, hey, we would love to have some time to talk about our scope and really see what you guys have to offer. Either that or, of course, we have a website at www.bjorngroup.com or bjorngroupcyber.com. And if you're heavy on LinkedIn, you'll always see me on there. And there's always a button that says that you want to set up a meeting. And definitely, I'm more than willing to set up a meeting with your organization. I just want to say, because we are who we are and we created an organization based on, betting on ourselves. We're not private equity owned. We're not part of any conglomerate. So for us, when it comes to small, medium SMB, it's really easy for us to say, hey, would this work for you? Would that work for you? And we could be more accommodating versus a lot of organizations where it's just you're stifled with a price and you're stifled with what you get and you can't change it. Our idea is as we grow, we want the ecosystem to grow with us. And if you look at our Bjorn logo, there's a small I in the middle of the big B. And for me, everything has a meaning. And to me, it's the industry base, right? And industrial base being that innocent small I that today that we're at. And our job as Bjorn is to secure and really, mature the industry base to where it should be in the next coming up years.
And I second that. Small companies, startups, they usually have a more personal service, which you won't get when you work with a bigger company. And I'm not saying that because we are small. It's just the fact that because you are smaller, you care about people more because you go through things as a group, as a team. Some of the that gets lost as you grow.
Yeah, and I think visually we see a lot of primes, we see a lot of big organization when everything's OKRs and metrics, right? Data analytics, OKR metrics, just understanding how they can grow and everything. I think before, and I want to be honest about it, and this is my passion talking, right? This is Khan passion talking, is relationships are built, through connection, communication, collaboration. um, where we are in the ecosystem that is CMMC and cyber AB and all the C3POs, ESPs, and everybody in here, it's still as the infancy where communication and collaboration still matters. Relationship still matters. It's not just about OKRs. It's not about data analytics. It's about trust, integrity, and morals, right? And that's how, I mean, way back when the forefathers of Boeing, the forefathers of Lockheed, and all these other organizations, they build relationships. So I really believe in building relationships because somewhere along the way, I'm going to need you, and somewhere along the way, you're going to need me. And when that time comes, I want you to know that over the last 5, 6, I think we've known each other close to 4 years. It's like, yeah, um, it's about relationship. We wouldn't be here today, or you wouldn't send people over to have a conversation with me if it wasn't for relationships and understanding what my values are. And I always want to keep that as forefront, value over money, right? Money's great, let me tell you, but if I cannot do what I promise you I can do, then I'm not going to take that job because all I'm doing is hurting you as an organization. We started off small, our investment was our team. A lot of C3POs today, RPOs and stuff, as we're building, we mortgage our houses, we mortgage our assets because this is our dream to build something that can last, that is not only for today, but is for generational wealth, right? Not only are we protecting today, but we're going to continuously see how the industry moves and how we're going to protect it tomorrow. So it's not just being reactive, it's going proactive and being more predictive of where CMMC is going tomorrow and how do we protect it. Also, how do we change the lives of our kids and our grandkids? And just maybe 10, 15 years from now, if I'm still here, we could sit back, have a drink, and talk about how the industry's grown over the last 20 years.
That'd be awesome. I would look forward to it.
Me too.
And I love it, Khan. Like value over money, connection, collaboration, and communication. Thank you again, Khan. Thank you so much for being on the show.
I want to thank you too. I think when we talked about this 3 to 4 years ago, it was at the Eastern Defense Summit, and one of my first partnership is with your organization for Zero Trust. And I want to make sure that everybody knows it's like if there's any question that comes our way about the partnership or the product that we work on that side of it, it's always with your organization. Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you so much, Khan. Well, this brings us to the end of another episode. I'll see you on the next one.
Musings from the Cyber Trench podcast requires more than a conversation. It takes action, research, and collective wisdom. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your insights. Join the conversation and help us shape the future together. We'll be back with more stories, strategies, and real-world solutions that are making a difference for everyone. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, rate, write a review, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it too. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.